Welcome back, and this lesson is going to be a little bit intense because we need to really update our code again because now we've got a new feature that we want added in. We need a way to maybe have some way to trigger that we want to remove something from the list. We could do something like we can click, so we can make that text clickable. So that is an option, of course. We can create an X here at the end. So that would mean creating another element. So we could do that as well. So maybe let's try that one. And what we'll do is we'll create a span. And so now that we've got the format, it's just a matter of using that same format. And let's create an element. So create element, and let's do a span. And then within the span, I want to create an X. We saw that over here where we do a create text node. So I want to add in some text within that span. So let me add that in. You could also do inner HTML. So mind you, keep that in mind that you can also add in inner HTML into the element. So we could do something like span and inner HTML. So we could add an X. So either way, we could do either one. We could add it as a text node as well. So let's do it this way for a little bit of variety in what we're doing. And then also let's add in, so span and click. Actually, we'll do that after. We'll add the event trigger after. For now, let's add it into the list item. So we've got the inside text, we've got the checkbox, and we also wanted to add a span. So let's try that out. So now when we create the elements, so even if we create new ones, they should have that X there. So let's make that X clickable. So that's span, click, and we need to fire off a function. And for now, let's do that right here, and then we'll update it. So clicked. And it's actually not going to be click, but it's going to be the on click. So let me refresh that and clean that up. So now we see that we get them clicked. So this is great. We still need to add some additional information because we actually have no idea what was clicked. We could go and we could try to get the parent. We could find out which element it is within the parent. So we could do that. So that is definitely an option. Let's take a look, and instead of passing it into a function, let's create a brand new function for this. So function, and let's call this remove, and we'll just we'll pass in that event, and then we'll console log out that event information. So see what information we can get from that event, and then instead of firing off the function, let's do remove. So refresh, and so we get that mouse event. We can also console log out this. So that's another option in JavaScript. So let's see what that returns. So we get that current span. We can go to find out more information about which one is next to it. So we know that we've got a sibling with an input, and it's got the value that we're after. So we could potentially use that value to remove out the element. So maybe we could try that as well. We also know that the good thing about the values is this is what list item it is as well. So we know we've got list item 0, list item 1. So if we were to list out all of the list items, we know which one we need to select, and we could also remove the appropriate one. So that is an option, of course. And there's also another thing here to consider, that because we do have them ordered and we're adding it in the new order, if we remove one, then we actually are going to lose our list item, our order here. So that's something to keep in mind. And this basically means that we have to just rebuild the list every time something is removed. We have to run through what we have within our data JSON object and completely build all of the checkboxes, which is not too bad because we do have it within a function, and all we have to do is pass in that data information, so the data JSON, and we can rebuild everything. So that is definitely something that we need to do, and we also need to clear out all of the list item, the task lists. So now we know that we can attach those click events, but we have to determine which one it is and which one has been triggered, which event has been triggered, which one caused this to trigger, and we need to figure out which value it is within the parent. And the good thing about it is that with JavaScript, so that because we're creating this dynamically, we know it's always going to look the same. So we know that the span is always going to be after the input. So we know that we have a previous sibling that is the one that we need to look at. So let's see if we can actually grab that value. So previous element sibling or previous sibling. So try previous element sibling, and we'll also do previous sibling. So you can see the difference. Basically, when we click it, we're going to get some information. So refresh, go into the console, and we click it, and we can see that both of them are the same. So it actually doesn't matter which one we use. So if we do previous element sibling, and let's grab the value of that one. So click it, and we get 3. So that was, we know that this is the third one, fourth one, fifth one, sixth one. So perfect. Everything is just as we need. So now we know which one to remove out of our array, and then all we have to do is rebuild that, all of the checkboxes. So we have to clear out all of the content, and let's do that first. So we'll clear out all of the content in the task list. So we've grabbed that object there, so we're just going to do inner HTML, and we're going to equal that to, that's two small quotes. So let's see what happens. So basically, we should clear out everything and rebuild all of the checkboxes. And so basically, that's what's happening. I added in that build the checkboxes, so we can't see that it gets cleared out. But it is being cleared out, and we're rebuilding according to what we have in the data, the JSON object. So perfect, just as we need. Remove it out of our array. So we do have our array, so that's the data JSON. So let's put that array in, and we're going to use splice. So what splice does is it allows you to grab an element or a number of elements according to the index value. So we do have that index value here, so we can make use of that. Let's put that into a variable. Just call it index. And we can actually get rid of the console stuff. We're not going to need that event. So we're grabbing splice by the index, and we're pulling out one value from it. So let's see what happens. So remove, check, check, uncheck, uncheck. Let's add something new. We can check these off. We can refresh. So there we go. So we've got a completely dynamic working checklist. So now it's up to you. Try it out for yourself. Create this checklist version for yourself. Build it out, and you can even improve upon it. There's a lot of improvement. Guarantee you there's a lot of areas to improve on this. So go ahead, try it out for yourself. Take the code and make some updates to it. Add in the ability to remove, and you can even add in options to add more content into the data as well. And try it out for yourself. Again, main focus is working with the JSON data. And in this case, we're using the JSON data, we're stringifying it as well as parsing it. So you're getting a lot of use out of the data. And then down here is we're really making use of the data that has been presented to us from the JSON object.